We have been eagerly waiting for the keynote message from an industry luminary. He has kept his promise and traveled all the way from Mumbai for the celebratory event. I'm sure you would also soak in all the tips and wisdom he has to offer when you are poised to start your long professional journey. I now request Professor Shruti, Department of Basic Science, to introduce our distinguished guest, Mr. Sharad Sanghi.
Everyone present here, I'm extremely delighted to introduce our esteemed guest, Mr. Sharad Sanghi, the Chief Executive Officer and Managing Director of NetMagic. He is an electrical engineer from IIT Bombay and holders of a master's degree from Columbia University, New York. He is also the recipient of IIT Bombay's Distinguished Alumnus Award 2021, a prestigious recognition conferred upon alumni for their outstanding achievements in the spheres of academia, industry, public service, and social welfare. He is responsible for scaling one of India's largest full-stack ICT service providers, enabling over 3,500 enterprise clients' business outcomes with capabilities delivered seamlessly across the edge to the cloud. This includes transformational solutions like managed hybrid hosting, cybersecurity, network modernization, employee collaboration, and custom experience. He is also the CEO of NTT Global Data Centers and Cloud Infrastructure India. He has 25 years of extensive experience in developing internet backbone infrastructures and providing internet service. As a pioneer in the Indian cloud computing space, Mr. Sharad Sanghi serves as a chairman and co-chairman of Data Center Council of Apex Association. He started his journey in 1998 when he founded NetMagic, which later became a leader in the data center market of India. His sheer passion, dedication, and vision led erstwhile NetMagic through 3 successful VC funding rounds with Nexus Venture Partners, Fidelity, Cisco System, and Nokia Growth Partners. He led the 2012 acquisition of the company's majority stake by NTT, a Fortune 500 company, a first in the India data center market. He was inducted in the Hall of Fame series by the Indus Entrepreneur Mumbai in 2019 for being an outstanding entrepreneur in the deep tech category. Now I request Mr. Sharad Sanghi to deliver keynote address.
Introduction. Respected dignitaries, Dr. Uma Maheshwar Rao, Director NITK Suratkal, Mr. U.T. Kadir, MLA and ex-Minister Government of Karnataka, Architect N.M. Salim and Associates Calicut, Mr. Syed Mohammad Berry, Chairman Berry's Academy of Learning, Principal Manjur Basha, Principal BIT, Architect Ashok Bendonka, Principal of Beads, and Dr. Aziz Mustafa, Director, BIT Polytechnic, faculty, heads of department, faculty, staff, parents, and most of all, the students, graduating students of 2021. So, first of all, thank you for inviting me. I'm not sure I deserve this honor, but it's indeed a great honor and privilege to see this campus, to see what Mr. Syed Berry has done. I have to spend a couple of minutes to talk about Mr. Berry. Actually, he should be giving this talk, not me. He's an inspiration to us. And I've had the fortune of working with him. He's built several of our data centers. He's made them Platinum LEED certified. He cares a lot about the environment, sustainability. It's not just what his institutions teach, but he actually puts it in practice. And to see his work, of the 22 institutions that he set up, he told me once that, I didn't have the fortune of getting educated, but I want to make sure that everybody, as many people as I can touch, as many lives I can touch, I want to get them educated. So that's, to me, that is the greatest, gift that anybody can. So please give him a very wide, applause. And, really, I'm telling you, he's an inspiration to us. In fact, I came here with my wife, and when we saw all this, we said we should do something also to give back to society the way Mr. Berry has done. So first of all, congratulations to the class of 2021. It is your day today. The world beckons you. You have the power to make a positive impact to change the world. What Mr. Berry requested me to do is share my journey. So what I'll do is I'll share the journey ever since I graduated from IIT long back in '89, and maybe along the way share some lessons that might be helpful to you in the future. The first thing was, after graduating from IIT, I think many of you may want to pursue master's degrees either in India or abroad. Many of you will take up a job. I saw some very prominent names on the signboard there. Many of you might want to become an entrepreneur. Some of you may join your family businesses. So I think it's important to set a goal. One of the things I wanted to do after I graduated was to become an entrepreneur. I didn't know how I would do it. I didn't know what I should do after I graduated. In IIT, many of my peers applied to go abroad. And, so I wasn't sure whether to apply to go abroad. I said if I want to start something on my own, maybe I stay in India and start something here. And then one professor at IIT Bombay, Professor Narayana, he said, I went to him for advice, and he said that, look, no harm in going abroad. Learn, it's a learning, but do come back and, fulfill your dream. And that's what I did. I ended up applying to go abroad, went to Columbia University, was fortunate to get admission there, met my beautiful wife there, and the amazing thing was that I never lost sort of the goal, which was to become an entrepreneur. At Columbia, I was lucky to work on the largest campus network. So I went into the area of computer science and computer networking, and like you have this beautiful campus. I'm sure some of you have done the networking for this campus. I ended up doing the networking for the Columbia University campus, which is spread across New York City, and at that time, the National Science Foundation Network, or the NSF Net, was being set up. And so I got the opportunity to work on the first large backbone of the internet, which was, this is before the HTTP or before World Wide Web was started. This was in early 89-90, early 1991. And I think HTTP protocol went live in, I think, 93 or 94. So it was a great experience. Working on such a prestigious project, but I never lost sort of my goal. And the moment in '95 when India announced that commercial internet, I think the Vajpayee government announced that the commercial internet would be made available in India, and it was at that time a monopoly of Videsh Sanchar Nigam Limited. I don't know if anybody remembers. This was in 1995. That's when I thought that I should come back to fulfill my goal, which is to start something on my own. Since the background was in computer networking on large internet backbones, I wanted to set up something in the internet space in the country. And so another lesson that I hope you can learn from this is, as soon as this was announced, without a job, without anything, I just came back to India. I just packed. We decided we pack our bags and we moved to India to grab the opportunity that beckoned us, because internet was just being set up. So obviously, it was common sense that there would be a lot of opportunity, right? And so I came back to India in 1995, and also another lesson is to be proactive rather than reactive. Many times, what happens in life is you can, wait for something to happen and then respond. But if you proactively, forecast what's going to happen, or hope that something is going to happen and take some initiative, that is very useful. And that's what happened in our case. We came back in '95. My wife supported me. She was working at Citibank. I didn't have a job. I was trying to figure out what to do, and had the experience of got an account at VSNL, and their internet service broke on the second day of launch. So I knew someone who connected me to VSNL, and I said, look, I know how to fix this because I'd worked on the NSF net. So I ended up going there, fixing the problem, and they gave me a consulting assignment. So I set up a consulting company in 95, and from 95 to 98, I did consulting. In 1998, the government announced that they would privatize internet. So a private company can set up internet services, and initially, that is again another opportunity that came our way, where I felt that we could exploit this and actually realize my dream of setting up a large institution in the country. At that time, there were many ISPs who set up. Most of them were set up by me and my team. We had a small team by then of consulting engineers, and most of them were looking at retail broadband. So most of them were connecting consumers to the internet. There was no one who was offering mission-critical internet services to businesses. So with a simple business plan but with no money, we decided that we would be the ones who would set up mission-critical infrastructure in the country to enable businesses. So that's what we ended up doing, but we didn't have money, so we had to raise venture capital. So with just an idea in mind, right, we ended up raising our first round of funding in the year 2000, and there was a person called Mr. B.V. Jagdish, who set up something similar from Bangalore, so from Karnataka. He had set up something similar in the US, which was very successful. It was a company called Exodus Communications. So when he looked at our business plan, it kind of resonated with him. And I think the passion and belief that we had, the founding team had, was something that resonated with him, and he decided to invest in our company. And after he invested, after he decided, there was a plethora of investors who wanted to invest in this company. And this was just an idea on paper. We didn't have anything on the ground. But again, I think the passion and self-belief is what stood out for them to invest in our company. But however, it was not all a bed of roses. So we set up our first data center in Mumbai in 2000, and within less than a year, the entire industry collapsed. I don't know if any of you remember of the dot-com bust in the year 2000. Sometimes one wonders whether we are entering into a similar bubble now when you see all the hefty valuations of all the startups that are going public now, but I think this time it will be better. There was no access to capital. The business we were in was setting up data centers, which, as Mr. Berry will tell you, is a very capital-intensive business. He's built our best data centers in Bangalore, in Mumbai, in Chennai. So it's a very, very capital-intensive business. And with no access to capital, we weren't sure how we will survive. But it was sheer perseverance and also innovation. See, the necessity, they say, is a mother of invention, right? So we didn't have a choice. We had limited space, limited number of clients, but how could we upsell to them? So we created India's first managed storage service, India's first managed disaster recovery solution, India's first cybersecurity set of solutions for data centers. Many such firsts we did so that we could upsell to our existing clients. And, we went through, and second time in our career, in 2008, again there was a slowdown when Lehman Brothers collapsed. But second time we were much better geared to cope up with it. And first time we didn't have any funds. We were down, I think, in such a capital-intensive business, we were down to the last, I think, 15 or 19 lakhs in the bank. That was it. This is a business that requires several crores to run, and we were down to that. But we just sheer hard work, perseverance, we managed to sustain this period.